The year is 1959 and there's widespread agitation in Kerala. The Vimochana Samaram against the EMS government is in full swing and everybody's talking about it. But what's surprising is that 14,000 kilometers away, the CIA is watching all of this unfold. Why is an American intelligence agency so interested in something that's happening in a small Indian state? For that, we'll have to rewind all the way back to 1957. In 1957, an almost unprecedented event in history occurred in Kerala. A communist government was elected into power democratically. And thus, the Kerala experiment was born. If you're wondering what all the fuss is about, let me remind you that in 1957, the world was in the midst of the Cold War. The globe was divided into three: the capitalist Western Bloc, the communist Soviet Bloc, and a group of non-aligned nations which included India. And this is why the Kerala experiment was of interest to all sides. Because apart from San Marino, communists had always come into power through violent or coercive means. So if the model in Kerala worked out, this paved a way for communism to take hold in India and across the globe through electoral politics. The CIA feared that the communist virus would spread across Asia if it spread in India. The US Secretary of State at the time, John Foster Dulles, said at a press conference in September 1957, "Local election victories by communists in India and Indonesia are a dangerous trend. It's a dangerous trend whenever communists move towards political control." So this brings us to the crux of the matter. Did the CIA have a role to play in the toppling of the first communist government in Kerala? Talk of this active espionage started when the former US Ambassador Daniel Patrick Moynihan, in his memoir A Dangerous Place, mentioned that the CIA had provided funding to the Congress on two separate occasions to topple communism. First one during the communist rule in Kerala in 1950s and in the 1960s in West Bengal. The US had extensive intel collection. They believed that throwing out of the communist government in Kerala was essential to removing communism from India. So the embassy dispatches talk about how they planned to make use of every opportunity to deny external foreign aid to the communists in Kerala, and how Keralites will realize that foreign aid is flowing to other states around them, and because of communism, Kerala is not getting any aid. For example, they talk about how they plan to work with the government of India to deny Hungarian investment into Kerala. These documents also talk about how the communist government shot itself in the foot through policies that led to widespread agitation. In particular, the land reforms and the educational institutions reform. The educational institutions reform led to a lot of dispute and eventually the Vimochana Samaram and the toppling of the government. But in all this discussion about the CIA and the US, we should not forget about the Congress. Because I dare say they had more skin in the game. If the communists took over India, Congress would lose their dominance over the Indian political system. A CIA bulletin actually talks about how the Central Intelligence Bureau of India was planning to supply funds to a Nair so that he could get Communist Party members of the Nair community to defect. What's more interesting is that recent declassified British intelligence documents suggest that the MI5, MI6, along with the CIA, supported anti-communist training for Indian Union operatives. This is done supposedly with the support of Indian officials. These trained operatives were infiltrated into the Indian Trade Union Congress and they were used to fight CPI-led movements. This complemented the CIA's funding efforts. So in light of all this, it appears that the Union government and foreign agencies aligned their interests to take advantage of a political crisis and topple the first communist government of Kerala. But hey, Kerala still has a communist government, right? So why did these foreign agencies stop meddling with Kerala's affairs? I found an answer to that in one of these CIA bulletins. The US and the CIA realized that the Communist Party of India was no longer a threat to US national policy because they were solely focused on electoral politics. As for me, I'm just happy that most of CIA's predictions for Kerala at the time have not turned out to be true. For these documents state that the economic development, unemployment and underemployment, insufficient food and communalism will remain problems for Kerala. Today, the term Kerala experiment has been replaced by Kerala model, and the state is still talked about in many circles, hopefully for the right reasons.